developed due to no fiber, lack of antioxidants, things like that in the diet.
Oh, lack of fiber. Oh no. What happens with that fiber? Where does that fiber go? What does it do? That's right, it does nothing because the body's terrible at converting that fiber into short chain fatty acids. So what's the purpose of fiber then? Because the whole argument for fiber being healthy, the only argument for that matter of fiber being healthy, is the fact that it feeds your enterocytes. Now, if you're actually feeding your enterocytes with butyric acid or butter or basically fatty acid, then why would you need fiber? 25 years, once again, I want to repeat that over and over again just to show you, never speak from authority because it's stupid. 25 years of experience right here.
Right? No fiber in your diet? Well, we don't need fiber. What quack told you we don't need fiber?
Yeah, what quack? What quack speaks from 25 years of experience and thinks that he knows it all? Once again, the world evolves, buddy. Keep up. So, in this video, we're going to be reviewing Jason Blaha. So that's a little bit of a strange name. Sort of sounds like my first name, actually. The Blaha part, except it's Blaze, it's not Blaha. But let's see what he has to say. Apparently, he says, why don't you just try carnivore with a question mark? So, who knows?
Hey, Jason, why don't you just try carnivore? All right, guys, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today because this is one of those things that people say and I have to shake my head at it. And I get where they're coming from. I get that people who only have had, a couple years of experience or knowledge around nutrition, they try something like this and they seem to get some positive results and they want everyone to try it, including people who detract from it.
I'll agree that when it comes to experiencing something positive, everybody for that matter, would usually go, oh my God, have you seen this? Have you tried this before? I've tried it. It's amazing. That's literally me with cerule, if you haven't already noticed. So yeah, go click my link down below because that's a shameless plug for my cerule. Because yes, I want more free cerule for myself because I use it so often and it works so damn well. But besides the point, what he's saying right here, I would say it's sort of true, yes. This does usually happen whenever you experience something positive, but he apparently sounds like anyways, he's saying that years of experience matter. I don't know if he is saying that. We'll give it a little bit of a further listen, but if he is, then he's stupid because years of experience don't matter. I don't care how many years of experience that you have. It can immediately get overwritten just like that because that's how the world works. It's not based on years of experience. It's based on whether or not it's actually true or it's not true and whether or not it is or isn't applicable. So, but we'll find out. Maybe he will, maybe he won't.
But the problem is these are also people who haven't heavily researched nutrition. They don't realize that the people they were following, even if they might be a medical doctor who promote this, are shunned by the rest of the scientific community. And they don't realize that oftentimes even those people's blood work looks horrific, and they don't understand the long-term consequences, and that's the problem.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, it sort of sounds like he's banking on the whole experience part. So already I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have much experience because I'm only 24 years old. Yeah, that's right. I'm only 24 years old. In fact, not only that, I haven't even fully graduated from college yet. I'm still an undergraduate. Still haven't graduated. And I can tell you right now, I know more than most people when it comes to the biochemistry of nutrition and understanding why it works and why it doesn't work. And to say something like this, like, oh, it's based on years of experience, you're living in delusion. Years don't matter. This is what authority does. This is how authority works. Authority goes along the lines of, well, I have more years of experience, therefore I know more. I am older, therefore I know more. That's not how the world works, sadly. Somebody who's old and who knows so much can immediately be replaced by somebody who is young and knows even more, for that matter. Because it's not, once again, this is not, years of experience don't mean anything. But all right, I'm waiting for a specific reasoning argument.
I'm not even going to harp on the cholesterol then, because when you're dealing with people in these sort of groups, they don't believe that there's a link, and you can't convince them of it no matter how much research you show them. But
No, it's because there isn't. It's not cholesterol. It's the LDL particle, ApoB, getting stuck to the artery wall. And the only way that occurs is through damage, which is otherwise known as glycation, inflammation, lipid peroxidation, oxidative stress, or reactive oxygen species. Those are the only ways that you're going to get this LDL cholesterol actually being problematic. Otherwise, LDL means nothing because your endothelium works the way it should work. That's the whole point. Your endothelium is your vascular system, and it's supposed to work in such a way that it doesn't have tons of cloggage over and over and over again. The only way that you damage the endothelium and you mess with the charges going about, and basically the way that it prevents sticking of anything to the wall, is by, yeah, exactly, not causing so much damage and inflammation, basically. So, all right. Not a good start, dude.
let's talk about the more obvious stuff. Let's just set that aside. And people are like, why don't you just try it? And I'm like, because the consequences are too high.
That's an interesting concept. The consequences are too high, therefore I will not try it. I don't know. I think you should look at my life. He'll realize really quickly that maybe, just maybe, there aren't consequences. I've done literally everything. Well, or quite a bit of things. Not everything. I've done actually almost nothing in comparison to what I probably could do. But just to give you an example, I have literally done almost everything against the book. Or I've done a lot of things against the book. I don't sleep on a bed. I sleep on a floor. I don't shower or brush my teeth either. Those are actually three things completely against societal norms. I eat only meat. 4. I also only wear like cotton, linen, wool, cashmere, silk, doesn't really matter. I only wear those sorts of clothes. I don't wear any sort of polyester kind of stuff. I only wear natural fibers, not synthetic polymers as clothing. That's 5. I drink from a glass water bottle, or I filter the water, basically filter out the microplastics from the water. That's 6. I take iodine. That's 7. I use Cerule regularly. Once again, another shameless plug. Go click my link down below because seriously, this stuff works. That's 8. I have a lot more. Oh yeah. Blue light before bed. That's 9. That's not really. I hope some of these should be like kind of obvious. In my opinion, but I do all of them. I wear barefoot shoes. That's 10. So hopefully you can sort of see that the list of things that I do is pretty unorthodox, especially when it comes to the consequences of the long-term consequences being very damaging. I got to be honest, I don't see it right now. My health has only improved as I've done this. So if my health has only improved doing this, and I've done this for most of this pretty much for 2 years or more, what's the problem? See, I should have died by now with a heart attack, and I didn't, if you didn't already know. No, just kidding. I actually did die. So, yeah, this is once again, this guy's kind of clueless. All right, buddy, enlighten me.
The consequences of the specific dietary deficiencies that won't show for a long time are just simply too high, and I know better. And anyone
Really? I'd like to name me one deficiency. I'm going to tell you right now, you can't. They don't exist. But let's hear one. Come on, buddy. I'm waiting for one.
who knows nutrition knows better, and it's very unfortunate that in a few years, a lot of these people are going to be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I know, right? They were in for a rude awakening. Imagine that. Previously having muscular dystrophy, and suddenly that goes away. That's a rude awakening, isn't it? Previously being emaciated, and now no longer being emaciated. In fact, carrying quite a bit of muscle. That's a rude awakening. All of these things are just such rude awakenings. Oh my God. It's endless. My acne going away. Geez, that's such a rude awakening. That shouldn't have happened. Balding. No longer balding. Wow. Isn't that strange? That's another rude awakening. Like, one thing, losing all of the white adipose tissue that you have and actually looking absolutely shredded like me. Like, come on, man. Make some sense. This is what I mean. So, but I'm waiting for one.
What they don't realize is that what they may be doing is forcing themselves into that sort of lifestyle.
You know, I'd like to point out right now, he says forcing himself into that sort of lifestyle as he's pumping weights over and over and over and over again. Now, I will come out with a video on this eventually. But I don't think exercise is what people think. Exercise is helpful. Don't get me wrong. But exercising continuously over and over and over again is not healthy. Because if you look at how muscle inflammation occurs and basically how muscle rebuilding occurs, constantly beating yourself and basically exercising over and over and over again, why was that always promoted as healthy? The only reason why it was promoted as healthy was basically to get rid of the extra blood glucose that you were stuffing into your system. But if you're carnivore, that doesn't happen. So what exactly is the problem then? Exactly. So what's the point of exercise? The whole point of exercise, just to let you know right now, the main reason behind it is to build muscle mass. That's the purpose. And it's to basically build muscle mass and have that muscle mass function. It's basically so you can get up and walk, or you can lift a refrigerator if you need to lift a refrigerator, or throw a baseball at like 90 miles per hour for some reason or another. The whole point is for your muscle to be functional. But it sort of looks like it as of right now anyways. It looks like he's just working out and exercising over and over and over again and putting himself into this lifestyle or habit, which is, by the way, this kind of a habit. If he's going past muscle failure and then continuing to push himself anyways, I wouldn't recommend that, because that's not how you build muscle. That's actually how you lose muscle. The whole building muscle process actually occurs about 48 to 72 hours, if I remember correctly, afterwards. So that's basically the inflammatory step. And after that, then the muscle building. So yeah, this is not ideal, buddy.
Indefinitely. Meaning they won't be able to revert back from it in some cases. And the other thing is going to be the other health problems that develop.
All right, so here, let me give you this example. If you felt better than ever, but suddenly you could no longer eat ice cream or you could no longer eat pizza, would you really be sad about the fact that you could never eat those things again? Or would you be happy about the fact that you literally feel better than ever? You've gotten rid of your muscular dystrophy, of your eczema, of your acne, of your brain fog. You've been functioning better than ever. Your cardiovascular problems suddenly aren't existent anymore. Like, really? Not only that, it turns out fiber actually, it has anti-nutrient properties as well. It actually prevents nutrient absorption. Maybe you don't want it. You know, it also steals your water, once again, hindering nutrient absorption. Not only that, it really messes with your colon. Like me and Kent Carnivore are great examples. Or for that matter, anybody with ulcerative colitis or any sort of these problems. Yeah, we're really, really good examples. What you don't want to do, don't eat fiber. So why? And not only that, afterwards he brought up antioxidants. Okay, what's the purpose of an antioxidant? The whole point of an antioxidant is to help you deal with reactive oxygen species. But if you are dealing with so much reactive oxygen species, like a plant does, and you're a human and you don't deal with as much reactive oxygen species, and then you're saying, oh, we need more antioxidants. Like, do you not understand some of the basics of biochemistry? This is literally where superoxide dismutase and glutathione are pretty good at doing their job. You don't need excess antioxidants. The only time you need excess antioxidants are when you're jamming down so much reactive oxygen species. And what better way to do that than glucose? Because yeah, that's right, glucose will inhibit superoxide dismutase function. And what happens then? Yeah, that's right. Superoxide dismutase ends up not functioning as well, and then more reactive oxygen species leak out because glycation occurs with superoxide dismutase, and it inhibits the process of it actually functioning correctly. So once again, this is like clueless, really clueless.
So let's mention that part first. So people say, why don't you try it? And I'm like, well, because heart disease runs in my family. I don't want cancer.
Oh wow, man, he'd be even better off than it turns out. Who would have thought? Well, I guess I'll find out the hard way, sadly. Not necessarily something good, but. And he doesn't want cancer. Yeah, if you don't already know, many people have actually just gotten rid of cancer by either going carnivore or vegan. Yeah, you know why? The reason is because you're not jacking up the insulin to glucagon ratio, which ends up basically, indirectly, it will end up leading to tons of senescent cells, because suddenly now the cells are bombarded with insulin and they don't want to commit autophagy, or basically they don't want to kill themselves at the right time. And what happens when you have senescent cells? That's right, you have a higher chance of getting a cancerous cell. All it takes is just one wrong mutation at the wrong spot, or maybe even glycation at the wrong spot. Yeah, so this is like... doesn't know what he's talking about. See, this is a quote-unquote 25 years of experience. Yeah, just to show you once again, experience doesn't mean jack. Shit.
Let's put those up on the list. Again, setting aside things like the insulin sensitivity. Okay, let's set all that aside. We know that insulin resistance goes hand in hand with ultra high saturated fat. That is.
Are you kidding me? Did this guy? Yeah, see, this is what I mean. This is 25 years of experience right here. Congratulations, you made yourself look absolutely like an idiot. Dude, no. It's not saturated fat that does anything. It's specifically glucose. If fat and glucose, here we go. Here's the Randall cycle for you. If saturated fat and glucose both try to enter the cell, or any fat, doesn't really matter, try to enter the cell, what ends up happening? Big problems start occurring. And why does big problems start occurring? Because selective inhibition leads to both of them getting basically inhibited. And what does that end up dealing? Oh yeah, that's right. Now you suddenly have glucose being locked outside of the cell and fatty acid being locked out of the mitochondria. What happens when glucose gets locked out of the cell? That's right, it damages the endothelium and it causes serious problems. So it's not saturated fat. It's literally the combination of saturated fat and glucose, or just fat and glucose mixed together, which prevent and causes selective inhibition of the Randall cycle. And now you got serious problems because endothelium damage of glycation, probably even more lipid peroxidation, inflammation, all of that starts occurring in the endothelium. So this is, once again, 25 years of experience that goes to show you that you don't know what you're talking about. And maybe, just maybe, the world actually evolves. That's right. You can't stay stagnant and you can't live 20 years ago thinking that you knew it all, because there's always more to learn. For anybody who doesn't know, the greatest master is an eternal student. And if they don't know that, and if they aren't willing to admit that, I will let you know right now, there will always be somebody who will surpass them one way or another.
It's proven in the lab. That's not a point of contention. That's a factor.
Yeah, proven in the lab. You should really do your research, buddy. Clueless. Don't be like this guy, okay? Even if you're a boomer, I don't care what generation you are. The whole point is never think that you know it all, because there's a really good chance that you don't. And there's something that you're missing one way or another. And you can't keep living back then like you were in the 1960s or 1980s where you knew it all and you were some hot shit. Yeah, that's right. Not anymore, because it's 2020, 40 years later, and there is some really, really big things happening. And there's a whole lot more knowledge that ended up getting added to the world through many different ways, like the internet. So, once again, clueless.
That's a big factor in cancer, diabetes, other stuff. Okay, but really, what are we looking at? The lack of antioxidants, the lack of healthy gut flora. This is all.
Once again, I already debunked both of these. Antioxidants, we already explained that. Gut flora, yeah, enterocytes. You don't need to feed them with those short-chain fatty acids and fiber, which, by the way, are given in abysmally low amounts because the conversion ratio is so low. Instead, you could just feed it with, that's right, something called butyric acid. Amazing.
All linked to cancers, cardiovascular disease, but definitely cancers.
Exactly, linked. This is what I mean. Once again, you're living in epidemiology, buddy. How are you supposed to figure out what really does and doesn't cause problems when you're living in a sort of science that doesn't actually, well, one, it's not really a science in my opinion. That's not a real science. A hard science will really tell you the underlying reason. Epidemiology will only give you a possible indicator. That's it. It doesn't give you the exact reasoning and cause behind it. So maybe you should do your science a little more.
So we know that fruits, vegetables, whole grains, all these things, but particularly the fruits and vegetables, are absolutely linked to lower cancer rates. They dramatically reduce cancer.
This is what I mean. It's I already explained this. It's whether or not you're stuffing in fat and carbohydrate at the same time. Randall cycle, buddy. And then a little bit of basics of cellular biology. And it's like, oh, insulin bombardment leads to no autophagy. Uh-oh, senescent cells, here we come. So it's like, once again, it's clueless.
And a big part of that is all the antioxidants,
No.
polyphenols, all these different.
This is what I mean. It's clueless again. My God. You don't need these things because your body makes them on its own if it isn't absolutely screwed up and damaged. If all of its own antioxidant functions start not working, then you got some problems. You know what the plant does? The plant produces exorbitant amounts of vitamin E. Do you know why it does that? Mr. I don't know what your name is. We'll just call you Mr. Boomer. Do you know why it does that, Mr. Boomer? Mr. Bald Boomer. The reason why it does that, Mr. Bald Boomer, is because, one, lipid peroxidation is very prominent in the plant because they have high amounts of polyunsaturated fats, which, by the way, have double bonds, more prone to lipid peroxidation, and now suddenly you got some serious problems because you can have an infinite chain reaction of free radicals occurring, which, by the way, the plant doesn't want. And you can actually literally see sometimes plants quite literally killing themselves at such a rapid rate because of the rubisco enzyme, which is exactly the thing causing all of this in the first place. All of those reactive oxygen species are caused by the rubisco enzyme because it's so inefficient. Or, well, that's one of the main contributors anyways. And just to give you a little bit of an example, you might even be able to go out there and see it for yourself. Just go look at leaves and go look at some of those plants. And eventually, you might actually run across a plant that just for some reason has all of these holes in the middle for almost no reason. Why is that? Well, that could sometimes be bugs eating them if there are certain kinds of holes, but there's actually another possible chance that it is literally the plant killing itself at such a rapid rate. So hopefully you can see the real purpose of antioxidants. That's right, it's only if you're producing tons of reactive oxygen species, which, by the way, the human body doesn't do. So why do you need so much? By the way, why do you need so much vitamin E anyways? You're always talking about these polyphenols. Why do you need vitamin E? Unless you're cramming down tons of polyunsaturated fat, your fat is not going to be as susceptible to lipid peroxidation. And because of that, you don't need all of this vitamin E. So why are you getting it? Once again, clueless. Enlighten me, buddy. 25 years of experience. Just keep speaking. We went far beyond, once again, 6 feet of digging himself a grave at this point. It's literally 100 feet or 200 feet. I'd say we'll give him 50. He's getting close to 100, though. He's already making himself look pretty stupid, in my opinion. It's not a good look. It's really not a good look.
Different things. Phytonutrients, this is linked to reducing cancer rates across the board.
It's literally because you stopped bombarding your cells with insulin. Like, oh my God. Once again, if you knew the Randall cycle, maybe things would make sense.
So you see where we're going with this? So someone's like, oh, just try it for 6 months or a year or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's a pretty big risk to take considering we know that lack of antioxidant status when you eat no fruits and vegetables, even if you eat low fruits and vegetables, let's just say if you eat low amounts, not even go to zero, you're dramatically increasing your chances of a wide variety of cancers.
Yeah, okay, once again, he's clueless. But I'm actually more disappointed in his pull-ups. He needs to bring his chin to the bar, in my opinion. I don't think you should be pulling up only your head, the top of your head. You really need chin to the bar if you really want results. That's a personal experience one. I'm such a calisthenics person, so that's actually the main thing I see here.
Like just straight up. Okay? And this is well observed, well documented. Okay? So why?
Well observed and well documented. Go ahead. Enlighten me, buddy. Enlighten me in the biochemistry. Tell me the exact reasoning behind all of this. And when you try to tell me the reasoning, you'll realize the reasoning doesn't hold up. Because turns out epidemiology and hard science actually have completely different ways of determining what's right and wrong. Epidemiology literally is just trying to throw tons of variables out in the world and then say, okay, now this is the main one. And that's not how it works because there are so many other variables at play, especially in biological systems and large systems. But when you understand things on the small scale and what's going on at the small scale, then all of this starts to make sense. And you go, oh, that's why suddenly people start removing all of their problems when they go carnivore. Or suddenly all of this inflammation that used to exist no longer exists. I wonder why. I thought antioxidants are supposed to help with all of that inflammation. So why is it that when they add in those antioxidants found in plants, they do worse? Yeah, that's right. Once again, clueless. 25 years of experience speaking. Once again, it's not. You're not giving yourself a good look. You talk from the authority perspective, which I really don't like that perspective. I really don't like that perspective because it goes to show you how stupid you can look. The world evolves and the world adapts, the world changes. Keep up.
Why don't you just try it? Well, because I don't want to double my chances of getting cancers. Like of 7.
He would definitely reduce it. Not only that, I don't know if you noticed, you could actually see before he has like a skin tag here, if I remember correctly. It looked sort of like a skin tag or skin tags. That's because of chronically elevated insulin. So
17, 18, 20 different types. And they're like, well, I've been doing it a year and I don't have cancer yet. Yeah, that's like the people who say, hey, I smoked for 5 years already. I don't have lung cancer yet. You're predisposing yourself to lung cancer even later if you quit. Now, granted, the sooner you quit, the lower it's going to be.
Once again, should really be speaking about this from a biochemistry standpoint. Don't use epidemiology, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. It really makes you look bad. Not only does it make you look bad, it actually ruins your life. It would ruin my life if I lived like that. Yeah, I'd actually probably be dead by now. I take that back. I would most certainly be dead by now if I did that.
But yeah, you can smoke for 5 years and get lung cancer from it 10 years after you quit. You increase your chances. Right? It's the same thing if you do this a prolonged period of time with nearly zero antioxidants in your diet. Okay? There can be...
Like, how many times does he not understand how antioxidants function? This guy literally didn't take biochemistry. Once again, superoxide dismutase, glutathione. 2 main ones. Okay? It's really not that hard. Those things are really good at preventing reactive oxygen species formation. Hydrogen peroxide to hydroxyl free radicals, superoxide dismutase goes, nope. Not allowed. So, once again, guy doesn't really understand. This is what I mean. You're relying on epidemiology and then you're trying to mix in any sort of scientific words when you can. Like, that's not how it works.
The consequences of this, long-term consequences, because you did some silly fad diet because my friends were doing it. Someone told me it felt really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure plenty of people... when they first tried heroin or cocaine, thought it felt really good. They felt amazing on it. Well, there are eventually some consequences for that. People say, how can you compare that? I can, because we know the consequences of no fiber and no fruits and vegetables or antioxidants in your diet.
Mm-hmm. You're right, we do. We actually know that when you reduce all fiber content, you actually get rid of all of those idiopathic constipation problems. Yeah, that's right. Anal bleeding, constipation, you name it, doesn't really matter. Stomach cramps, stomach bloating, stomach pain of any sort. That's right. It just went away when you reduced fiber. You're right. You're right. We do know a really good example of why you want to get rid of fiber. 25 years, once again, 20. I want to repeat that over and over again just to show you, never speak from authority because it's stupid. 25 years of experience right here.
It is potentially deadly. I guess that's not a controversial position, even though I might have mentioned it in a form of hyperbole. I mean, we are giving a hyperbole by saying, well, heroin or whatever. Okay, fine. But you get the idea. It's the same concept. It's taken to the next extreme. You were predisposing yourself to very serious long-term problems. What about the gut?
Yeah, I'd like to hear one.
Gut flora extinction.
I mean, we already covered this. It's fed by butyric acid. You don't need fiber. Once again, why does a herbivore have a cecum? Okay, it's not because they feel like it. They don't just get born and go, oh, I need a cecum now. No, it's because they're literally designed to digest fiber, which that fiber all gets converted into short chain fatty acids. How do we get our fatty acids? The only difference between an herbivore and a carnivore is how they get their fatty acids, but they both use the main fuel source of fatty acids. It's really not that hard. There are some very rare exceptions, like hummingbirds that use glucose as the main energy source. Okay? That's it. Once again, Clueless.
Right? No fiber in your diet? Well, we don't need fiber. What quack told you we don't need fiber?
Yeah, what quack? What quack speaks from 25 years of experience and thinks that he knows it all? Once again, the world evolves, buddy. Keep up.
What quack told you you don't need these healthy gut flora? Are you people not keeping up with the current data on gut?
Oh, no, he didn't just make himself look that stupid, did you? Oh, no, buddy, you didn't just do that. Yeah, keep up. Once again, keep up. If the world is ever changing, you can't speak from authority, or else you're going to eventually make yourself look really stupid, like really, really stupid.
Health and gut flora and gut biome and all the stuff that we are finding about how it's linked to everything from cancers to depression to mental illness. You're causing all sorts of gut flora extinction, and it's not always reversible. Yeah, you might be able to start reintroducing slowly these things and build it back up. You won't be able to tolerate them easily. But how many of the people go to these diets because of GI tract problems they created from eating a garbage diet already?
Yeah, and then they suddenly got rid of it, and then they go, oh my God, well, it turns out we're actually staying carnivore because my GI tract, like me, for instance, actually somehow got better. Once again, another clueless man. You're really making yourself look really bad, dude. Like, I really, once again, I can't harp on that enough. I hate it when people speak from a position of authority. I really, really don't like that. That's definitely, that's a big one that I don't like. Speak from a position of knowing, not from authority. So, hopefully you see what not to do. One, don't speak from a position of authority. Speak from a position of, like, literally the information. Information is what matters, not authority. So, whenever you say, I have 25 years of experience, that means jack shit, in my opinion. Don't say stuff like that. That's not really that helpful. What you should say is something like, it does this because XYZ, yada, yada, yada. Not really that hard. Once again, undergraduate student, 25 years of experience, Jason Blaha, man, speaking from a position of authority. You make yourself look really, really stupid. Don't do this. Don't do this. We already debunked his two main arguments, which was fiber and superoxide dismutase, or in this case, antioxidants. So hopefully that makes a little more sense. Thanks again for watching. If you found the video helpful or informative, and if you want Cerule, please, once again, go buy it from my link so I get free Cerule myself, because I use this stuff so often. Yeah, thanks again for watching. If you found the video helpful or informative, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below because it really does help the channel grow. And if you're interested in seeing all of my videos ahead of time, please click the join button down below where you can see all of my videos ahead of time. So yeah, go click the join button down below. If you look at how many videos I have scheduled, I think it's like 50 right now or something. It's insane. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Pew.